A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Dear viewers, today we are lucky that today our guest of honor, Mr. Michael McCord from USA, has come here to introduce the crop insurance, its importance, and the farmers who can get benefit from the crop insurance. And finally, we will collect the general message of Honorable Michael McCord for our growers. So let's start. Sir, kindly introduce your company in which you have been working since long, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Ijaz. It's an honor to be here and to be able to speak with you today.
Welcome, welcome, sir.
So I'm Michael McCord, and I run the Microinsurance Center at Milliman. I started the Microinsurance Center almost 25 years ago exactly, in order to focus on getting insurance products, risk management products, to low-income people across the globe. I saw that there was a huge insurance gap, and I recognized from the other work I was doing, I recognized that low-income people, they don't have insurance. They go through all these crises that we all go through, and they don't have insurance. So I started the Microinsurance Center, and then in 2017, we joined Milliman, the largest actuarial consulting firm in the world. So it's now Microinsurance Center at Milliman.
Very nice. Sir, here you are working with the SAFCO
Yeah.
in Pakistan.
Yeah, SAFCO is a very, very good organization, and they have loans for livestock and loans for crops. And they came and they said, we have a problem. We have climate change.
Right.
And we're having all these issues, all these additional risks, all this uncertainty for crops and livestock. And we have an insurance product, but the insurance product just pays the loan.
Right.
So that's fine for us, but it doesn't do any benefit for the clients. So how do we help the clients in this range of climate change and this group of risks that we're facing? So you got floods and droughts and everything else. And so this is for livestock as well as for crops. Same thing, because low-income farmers are taking all the risk in agriculture, right?
Right.
The middle people, the other people, the factories and the companies, they can get their stuff from anywhere. But low-income people, if they don't produce, they have nothing.
Right, sir. Exactly, sir. As far as I am also concerned with the agriculture, sir, and working in the agriculture university as a professor, so I myself know that the crop insurance was an old demand of our growers because of the reasons that our growers lost their crops due to the natural calamities, sometimes due to the heavy rains, sometimes due to the river floods. So we are also very much thankful that you have introduced crop insurance here in our country. And kindly sir, just to tell us which type of the growers or farmers can get benefit from this crop insurance.
So this crop insurance at this point, we're in a pilot phase now, pilot testing. But the crop insurance at this point can be purchased based on getting a loan from SAFCO, an agricultural loan. You'll be availed the insurance. Okay, and so this is important, but we're in the pilot test phase, so we have limited the number of people. After the pilot test, if it goes well, if we make the proper changes, then we'll expand out. So even if you're not a borrower, you can still get the insurance. So we're very excited and we're looking forward to expanding the microinsurance there. And microinsurance is a nice combination with the loans, not just because it protects the institution, but because people need financial services. They need to have the money for feed and fertilizer and everything else so that they can get their crops to grow right. And so in that way, what we can do is we can use the microfinance institution to provide access to better seeds, access to better fertilizers. How can the farmer improve their productivity? And so the microfinance institution has an important role there, and SAFCO has taken on this role very well. And then linking that with insurance, then if something happens, and it does, if something happens, then you have the insurance to back you up and to provide some benefits. What we want to do is get to where we're providing more benefits than just covering the loan. We want the farmer to get benefits. If you're a farmer and you're growing your rice or cotton or wheat, and towards the end of the growing season, all of a sudden there's a flood. like in 2022.
22, right, sir.
Now you've lost everything.
Right.
And so,
Exactly, sir.
and so you've lost everything. You don't have either food
Right.
for your stores.
Right.
You don't have food to sell. So you don't have income generation.
Right.
So you have neither of those things. How do you go on and manage? And what has traditionally been done, and we see this all over, is that the lender
Right.
gets covered,
Right.
but the client gets nothing.
Nothing. Exactly, sir.
And so what we're trying to do is look at this a little bit less like insurance and more like risk management. How do we help people with their risk management? Help them to A, improve the productivity,
Right.
and B, manage their risk
Right.
so that they don't have such a crisis. And there are lots of things that we can do. For example, one of the obvious ones for me was that you had this big flood. The Indus River flooded in 2022.
22.
Now, a river flood, it floods up in the north,
Right.
and then slowly by slowly it comes down.
Right.
So why didn't people know in advance that it was coming? Why were they surprised to wake up in the morning and find water in their house? That shouldn't happen. So one of the things we're trying to do is to try to create an early warning system. People should know. With a river flood, you should be told days
Right.
in advance, and then you have time to do something. Maybe it's just get your family out, or maybe it's harvest early, or maybe it's protect your harvest in some way. So if we can start doing those kinds of things, that becomes more important. Insurance is critical. It helps people from falling back into poverty.
Right.
But insurance isn't the only answer. Insurance is the last step.
Right.
Nobody wants to lose their crops, even if they have good insurance. Right? So let's help them. Let's help them have more productive crops and stronger crops that can withstand this or other mitigation factors. And then we have insurance that doesn't just pay the microfinance company, but it pays the client for lost earnings, lost wage costs that they've spent. And so we're looking very closely at how do we do that and how do we make sure what those amounts should be.
Sir, this company will finance to the all type of the farmers, or there are some small farmers, particular landowners, they can apply for the loan or the crop insurance?
No, we're talking to the farmers
Yeah.
directly because, and especially in
Small
cities.
farmers or large holding farmers?
Exactly. You've got the large landholding farmers, and then the real farmers are doing the work. They just have small pieces. It's them that we're talking to. It's them that we're trying to get.
So then have you faced the hectares of land which has been possessed by the growers? Is there any fixation? The person who has the 1 hectare of the land, he can apply for the micro insurance funds and crop insurance or microfinance. And what is the maximum, we can say, the hectares possessed by the landowners?
Yeah, that's it's a very good question, and the premium is set based on how much land you have.
Yeah.
And that's, so how much land you have determines how much of a loan you get, and then how much insurance you get with that. And so we don't have a stated maximum.
You don't have any maximum limit?
No, but we're not looking to service the rich people. What we have is going to be too expensive for them if we say, here for 1 hectare is this price, for 100 hectares is that price. They're not going to be interested in that. So in many ways, and let me say, microinsurance, it's important to think about microinsurance as kind of an ecosystem, right? It's not just, here we'll put out this product that we think people want, right? We do some work to understand the client. And from understanding the client, we understand what their risks are and how much those are. That helps us to develop these products. And then in developing the products, it's also the processes. What processes do we need to work with low-income people for? How does the product work? How complicated is it? It should be very simple for these clients. Right? And so there's a lot of adjustments to products that we make. Microinsurance is not just a reduced premium and a reduced coverage. It's this ecosystem of facilitating your ability to be able to buy insurance and to be properly protected.
Excellent. So then what are the conditions necessary by which our growers can apply for the microfinance and crop insurance? Is there any condition?
They have to have crops
Or
now.
the documentation of the lands?
No documentation of lands. Very, very simple. You just have to have a crop now, or a plot of land to grow crops, and then you can get the loan as long as you haven't defaulted before or other basic criteria. But it's very, very simple. to get the loan.
So just in this connection, I would like to ask another question. Suppose if a person who will not submit the documents of the land, then how can we know that this is the landowner or he is not landowner?
We know that they're not.
Registration?
We know that they're not the landowner because there's a big landholder that owns that, and they allocate property. So they're not the landowner; they're just the land user. And so we're not that concerned with exactly who you are, what you are, and what property you have. We don't need. That's one of the issues with microfinance and microinsurance. Is that people often don't have those things, especially people
It
that.
means the persons who don't have documents, but they can apply for this loan.
Yes, yes.
It means both. The person who has the documents of their lands and the persons who still don't have the documents of their land, they both can apply for this.
Yep, they both can. But I expect that the vast majority of them will not have land documents, will not be landholders, they'll be land users. And that's fine.
Fine.
What we want is to help them and their families to do better on both the finance side and the insurance side. So we want them to do better, and then if something happens, we want to be able to protect the gains that they've made.
Then you need some guarantees for the persons who will come to take the loan or who will come for the crop insurance. Some guarantees.
Yeah.
You know, then they give the guarantee of that person.
Yep, there are guarantors within the groups and such, and they guarantee those loans. And then there's also some pressure to make sure that the farmer actually does what they're supposed to, because their friends are all in it.
So there is some special number of guarantees, one guarantor, two guarantor, or three guarantees.
We often do things in groups. So the groups may be 5 or 10, and so the group guarantees. So it would be everybody, it wouldn't be individual guarantors. That becomes too complicated. There are some organizations that do that for a little higher loans, but then it puts more responsibility on the guarantor, and so it becomes more difficult.
So, what is the minimum duration for the loan, sir?
Minimum duration is a season.
One season means 6 months.
Yeah. So if you're borrowing now for cotton, say, which you'd probably be about to plant September, would be the end. That'd be the harvest season. You'd harvest that, you'd pay back the loan, because the loan is paid back in a lump sum at the end. And so you pay that off.
And maximum period?
Maximum period would be 6 months, I would say, but it's
Minimum and maximum, initially it is for 6 months only, sir.
Initially, it's for the one cropping season.
One cropping season.
So then you come back and you get another one,
Oh.
if that's what you need, right?
It means a farmer can apply twice a year.
Yeah.
Twice a year, sir.
Yeah. They can apply twice a year. Most people are planting different crops, but like in this season now, you would plant maybe cotton or rice. In the other season, you plant maybe wheat in that same space.
Right.
And that's fine. If you're a farmer, you've got some land to use, then you can get two.
Then, sir, the amount of the loan is the same for all type of the crops, or it is different for different crops?
It's different for different clients. How much hectares they have, what crops they're planting, so it's different for all clients. And then the insurance is factored against that amount. So there's a percentage of that you get back in the insurance.
Sir, would you like to give some message for our viewers?
Yes. I think one of the hardest jobs we have in Pakistan and almost anywhere else is growing food. And it's one of the most necessary jobs that we have, because everyone needs it, whether you're in the city or in the country, you need to have good food. And the farmers are the crux of that. They're the base, okay? And so when we grow crops, we often then sell them to some middle person. We sell them to the factory, we sell them to somebody else, and then we sell them. So your crop, which was paid very little, now becomes very much. You're not earning that middle part, and you're taking all the risk. So I think what farmers need to be thinking about is how can we use the insurance to help us to maintain the gains that we've made. And let's remember, almost every country I go to, when I start working, people say, we don't trust insurance. And trust is crucial, okay? And so we are making sure that the insurers that we work with will actually pay those claims, and they'll pay those claims quickly, okay? We have to build trust in that way. But insurance has a very, very important role in the financial management of farms. And what you want, and you should not let insurers or others get away without doing that. What you want is something that covers more than just the loan. have it cover some other things. If you look at the livestock product that we have, right? We looked at, okay, if you lose your cow, what are the direct, indirect, and opportunity costs that you face? Then we went back to people and we said, okay, well, which of these are most important? And so we got that, and then that's how we developed the product. So it covers now, it covers loss of wages, because now you've lost your cow, you don't have the money, you probably even borrowed on that money that you were expecting. So now you can, now you have extra money to be able to do that. You have money to help yourself get through and to manage the next phase. And this is critically important. So if you're a farmer, then you should push to make sure that wherever you're getting loans, wherever you're getting financial services, that you're actually getting this kind of an approach, of a risk management approach rather than just an insurance approach. So I would say that. I would also say that we spend a lot of time talking to clients. When we develop products, it's based on what low-income farmers told us they needed. And anybody should do that. You shouldn't have companies or people or groups coming to you and saying, here, you need this, take it. Make sure that it's developed with people and that you have organizations that you trust that are intermediating and helping. It's one of the benefits of SAFCO. SAFCO has a great reputation amongst the market. They have great trust from the market. And so they can vet the insurance company. They can make sure that the product is good. And they can represent you if you have a problem. So something like that is a perfect relationship for low-income farmers. So think about these things, right? Make sure people are asking you what you want. Think about insurance in general as a way of managing your risk. It's critically important that you have those funds when something happens. And some years nothing will happen, but that's fine, right? As good as my life insurance policy is, I don't want to die just so I can get it. I want to be alive, but I want to be protected. And that's what you need to think about. So I think there's great opportunity here. The farmers are very hardworking and very good, and they need that protection. Without that protection, they'll keep falling back into poverty, up and down, and they'll never be able to advance. With good insurance, then they can advance. And that's what I hope people think about.
Dear farmers, growers, now I would like to conclude from the discussion with our honorable guest, Michael McCord, that the financing and the crop insurance is for not only the growers who have the documents of their lands, but also for the farmers, because our honorable guests want to see the better condition of our farmers and the growers. They want to give the risk cover to their crops. They want to see that farmers and growers must pass a happy and prosperous life. And in this regard, they have mutually agreed with SAFCO to work in our country for the betterment and prosperity of the farmers and growers. I hope that you all will get benefit from the great service of our honorable guest, Michael McCord, and I hope this service will also give the better financial benefits to the growers. Of course, these benefits will reflect upon the general prosperity of the nation and country as well. Assalamu alaikum.